Breaking news, my friends, just out. We've just found out that there is a new version of the Tesla Model Y. If you've just taken delivery or you're about to just take delivery, I would try and hold off for about a week because the new version is it's quite a bit better. Now, most people have been ordering the base version of the Model Y, and the base version is the one that gets the biggest upgrades here. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. Great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. And I'm coming to you from Newcastle in Australia. But Australians, we will get these new Tesla Model Ys. Everyone in the world, in fact, will get the new Tesla Model Y, except I don't know what's going on with the factory in Germany, whether or not you guys will get these updates. So the European Model Y, not sure what's going on there. But everyone who gets the Model Y manufactured in China, and there's a lot of countries worldwide that get that model, will get these new changes. The United States, will you get these changes? I suspect you will do so. I'm not sure exactly when. It could be within a week. It could be a day. It could be a month. I don't really know. But the big changes here to the new version of the Tesla Model Y include a significantly more powerful motor. We're looking at a big difference in terms of the performance of this car. You will notice this difference. Now, would you notice a small difference in an electric car motor? No, but this is quite a big difference because we're going from 6.9 seconds from 0 to 62 miles an hour or 0 to 100 down to 5.9. 6.9 to 5.9, 1 second difference. That's a big difference. Now, there is a small range improvement. It's about a 1.7% range improvement. Only about 10 kilometers of range has been added to this upgraded version of the Model Y. But that's for the standard range. Now, if you're ordering the long range, you get more range. I think it's about 20 to 25 kilometers extra range for the long range version of the Model Y. Basically, it's kind of like the same upgrades that we saw, or some of the upgrades we saw in the new version of the Model 3, but it's like Tesla Model 3.5 or Tesla Model Y 0.5 until we see the Juniper version. This is clearly not the new Model Y. It's not the full version. It's like half the specs, half the changes we're going to see in the Juniper version. So what I think is we won't see Juniper for probably a year, meaning this is some pretty good upgrades for the meantime. And I think Tesla has gone, you know what, why don't we just roll them out straight away? That's what they've done. There's some other upgrades as well. So those other improvements to the Model Y include the dashboard. They've changed that wooden design. I'm not really a big fan of the wooden design. What do you guys think of the wood? Let me know in the comments. I think it's a bit old school. So Tesla thinks that as well. They've changed that to the similar kind of dashboard in the new Model 3. I mean, it's cloth. It's a cloth dashboard, and it looks basically the same as the Model 3. But the thing is, they've basically improved the dashboard, right, by making it look nicer. They've given it the same lighting, so it has the same lighting effects as the new version of the Model 3. You can customize the lighting. I couldn't care less about that personally, but anyway, lots of people do like that kind of thing. But they've actually left in the things that people wanted to be left in, which is the indicators. So I'm curious to know whether Tesla will actually stick with this change. It seems like there might have been a bit of negative feedback about the removal of the indicator stalks. Tesla have left the indicator stalks in, but they've made the other new changes that we've seen in the Model 3. That's probably a good decision considering, yeah, like I said, some people weren't keen on the button press. Now, apparently it does feel like pressing a button in the Model 3 when you indicate, but some people didn't want that. They want to stick with the standard stalks, and that's what's happened with the Model Y. They've kept those. What else? What other changes has there been? Well, the gear selector, that's still there as well. So they haven't added the gear selector to the steering wheel. That's the same as the existing version of the Model Y. So it's not a touch-sensitive button like what we've seen on the steering wheel. Now, what else do we know? The touchscreen hasn't been changed. So the touchscreen in the Model 3, when they've gone to the new version, it was changed. It was a completely different screen. The Model Y, it hasn't changed at all. It's the same screen. So basically, we've seen minimal updates to the interior, but I think a nice improvement in terms of the design. We've seen increase in the power of the motors. The long range and the standard range have more range. We don't know the improvements to the range for the Model 3 performance. Those haven't been listed yet. So can't really say whether or not those have been changed. But there's some other slight changes. Now, the long range version now apparently has around about 533 kilometers of range. And The standard range version has around about, I'm talking WLTP here, guys, not the Chinese figures. The standard range has around 465 kilometers of range. And what else do we know here? Well, there's a new darken finish for the standard 19-inch Gemini wheel caps and new Model Y badging on the tailgate with a red underline on performance models. So have the motors been changed for the Model Y performance? They could have been. I mean, it would make sense, but we don't actually know that yet. So once I find out, I'll have a new video on all the updates. I'll make a new video with all the video features, kind of giving you guys a bit more info about all the changes. But these are the big changes here, and it's definitely worth waiting. Like I said, if you're going to take delivery this week, don't do it, because this model, as far as I can tell, it's the same price. So you definitely want to be waiting for the new version if you're going to pay the same price. Now, the photos released by Tesla show there have been no changes to the Model Y's sensors, and that Chinese-built models haven't started using hardware 4.0 driver assistance cameras. We might not see the new hardware 4.0 and the new cameras, and of course the extra camera. We might not see those for a few months, or possibly not until the Juniper version of the car comes out. Now, what else do we know? Well, we don't know if the traditional ultrasonic parking sensors have been deleted. Personally, I don't think that's going to make any difference, because Tesla has moved away from using those anyway as part of the system. Now, how do we know this information? Well, actually, Tesla have provided this information. This is coming from Tesla. This is not some sort of like fake Tesla news, not this kind of crap we've been hearing from a lot of different so-called insider sources. This is actually true. Everything I'm telling you in this video is real, and it's definitely worth calling Tesla. I'll be calling Tesla tomorrow if you've already placed an order for the Model Y, and I'd be saying to them, is this the new version? I want the new version. If it's not, I want to wait for it, because it won't be very long. They're already in production today, as in production has actually officially started. Now, speaking of sales for Tesla in China, they have actually delivered 278,681 Model Ys so far this year. That's an increase of 61.63% in China. So pretty good increase here, 62% increase. Now, I think the media are going to come out and say, oh, Tesla's only making these changes because it's an emergency. They're not selling enough cars. Well, actually, no. Sales for Tesla in China in August were one of their best months ever. And we only had preliminary figures, but I mean, a rising tide lifts all boats, or lifts all ships, whatever. Basically, the Chinese electric car market has gone ballistic. It's had its best month in history in August. EV sales have been absolutely mental. And I think Tesla has probably been preparing to make these changes now for a few months. So I don't believe that it's some sort of knee-jerk reaction. Based on sales, we know that the Model 3 retail sales from January to August were a lot lower. 111,541 vehicles were sold from January to August. Obviously, I'm not including September sales here, contributing 28.58% of Tesla sales in China. So as you can see, around about 70% of Tesla sales were actually the Model Y. Tesla sold 13,577 units of the new version, I think the new version of the Model 3 in the last month, in August. So is there any other details I can share with you on the latest version of the Model Y? I mean, this is basically breaking news here. What else? Let's just check and see if there's anything else. Pricing. Okay, price is the same. It's the same price in China. I would assume, therefore, the price for you, wherever you are, if you're getting the Chinese-made version, should be the same. This is especially relevant to Australians, I'd say, because that affects us. We obviously only get Chinese-made Tesla vehicles. Of course, New Zealand as well, Thailand, you guys as well. Malaysia, the same thing. $36,100 is the price for the Model Y, the base version in China. Now, the Model Y it's introducing a 256 color ambient lighting, the same lighting as the Model 3. And of course, there's other things like you can personalize your driving experience. There's been a few little features added to the software system too. In addition, I've already mentioned this, but in case you've just jumped on the video now, it's a live video. Tesla has changed the trim in the car. They've improved the power. That rear-wheel drive standard range Model Y now has, I would estimate, probably around 70 to 80 horsepower more, maybe possibly even 100 horsepower, because to improve the performance of this car by 1 second from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, 0 to 62, you'd have to add a lot of power. My estimation would be somewhere between 60 to 100 horsepower. It's a pretty big difference for no extra cost. And you will notice that difference in just normal driving, whether or not that's overtaking. Yeah, like I said, you want to wait for this model. Now, the range difference is not enough. I don't know if you'd notice a difference in the range, because 9 or 10 kilometers for the standard range is not much difference. Long range, though, that's where you're going to see the difference, because the long range version has, like I said, around 20 to 25 kilometers of extra range. Now, the other difference here, pretty small difference. I don't think this matters very much, but they have new 19-inch wheels. They've moved over from the silver finish. I'm not a fan of the silver wheels at all. I don't think they suit the car, especially because it's got black trim. Now they have a black finish on the standard range wheels. I think that's a good change. Basically, the same wheels as the new version of the Model 3. What else do we know about the car? The changes, we don't know what they are for the new Model Y Performance, but we know, though, that the price for the Model 3 in China has been increased. So it's $35,600 for the new version of the Model 3. Model 3 long range is $40,500 US. Model Y is $36,000. So the Model Y only costs $500 more in China than the Model 3, $500. So you can see here, the new version of the Model Y does not have the other changes, like the new acoustic glass, the new changes to the suspension system, all the other changes, the new sound system. There's been actually a huge number of changes to the Model 3 that I think people are actually overlooking. Doesn't have those changes. So it really just has a bit more range, a lot more power, and those interior features that I mentioned. It's still worth getting and waiting for, though. I think it's a pretty good improvement to the car, which people probably weren't expecting. I don't think anyone was expecting there was no rumors about this whatsoever. So that's interesting to see. Guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, and whether or not this changes your mind, or whether or not you actually would buy the new version of the Model Y. Is this a change that's going to be enough for you to go, hey, I was going to get something else, or I was going to wait for Juniper? Should you still wait for Juniper? Well, I think Juniper's going to be about 12 months away. So that's a fairly long wait. Should you wait, though? Well, maybe. Good chance that Juniper will have the new version. I mean, very likely it's going to have some version, either CATL's new faster charging, much faster charging, and much better performing lithium iron phosphate batteries, or their new M3P batteries. Of course, those are their kind of hybrid between lithium iron phosphate and a traditional ternary battery pack. Basically the best of both worlds. And that'll give the car a lot more range if they do have the M3P battery, which I think they probably will. So, guys, what do you think? Let's have a quick look here and see if there's any comments, and I'll try to do my best to answer them. How are we here? The King live and in action. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Why Tesla don't have self-charging features? I don't want to wait for my Model Y without turn signal arm. Well, 8-bit bender. I don't want to wait for Model Y without turn signal arm. Yeah, this has the turn signal arm. It's got a little bit of a range improvement. Interior looks better. You're getting more range. And as far as I can tell, it won't cost any more money. So I think the Model Y is already pretty cheap in comparison to a lot of other electric cars. This really, in my opinion, is a bit scary, because right now, what are we seeing, right? We're seeing General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis, or Chrysler and Jeep. They're getting worried. Mary Barra's freaking out. She just said within the last 24 hours, she can't understand why the union has increased its strike numbers. They can't meet the union's demands. They're getting stressed about it. And then Tesla's gone, just quietly improve their cars significantly. And this is a bit of a concern, because they already got 60% market share in the US. I'm going to guess that it's only going to be a matter of weeks before these changes come out in America. You've got to be a little stressed if you're the CEO of a rival. That's what I think anyway. Now, I know that probably sounds like I'm speaking as a Tesla fan, but let's just be objectively real about this. This is a pretty scary time for a lot of automakers. The disruption we're seeing is just massive. Is this a premiere or live stream? Guys, this is purely a live stream video. It is 4 a.m. That's correct. Sensei, you're right. Sensei, it is 4 a.m. here in Australia. So, yeah, it's very, very early. And after I get off this video, I'm going to try and get down to the gym before everyone packs into the gym. Now, my boys actually went to their first ever day of nippers. So nippers is where the kids do all their beach. They learn how to, basically swim in the ocean. They do some swimming tests. So they did their tests today or yesterday anyway. First day that they've ever done it. So that was fun for them. They had a good time. I think I got a bit burnt on the face. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day. In fact, no, don't have a great day. Have an awesome week. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you all again soon. By the way, this is a live video. This is not a recorded video. Cheers.